This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. So here we go again. More Meghan and Harry noise polluting the media cycle that nobody asked for. We see Harry wanting reconciliation, divorce rumors flying around, and also exploitation of their invisible children. Yesterday, Meghan puts out pictures of two kids, unidentified, of course, and the reaction by the public now is exactly what we should expect, and that's silence. I'm not going to bother posting these photos because you can see them everywhere else. I just don't care, and I will not give Harry and Meghan the satisfaction of saying one of us jeopardized these unknown kids' safety. Truly, nobody flipping cares. The only good news is they're no longer splashed across front pages every 5 minutes. The bad news is these two are still flooding the media with the same tired content, and anyone still paying attention can see it's nothing but distractions and deflection. Meanwhile, Archewell Fugazi Public Charity is getting zero attention. And I don't think that that's by accident. You know, this organization once bragged about its censorship partnerships and coalitions under the guise of online safety. Now that the U.S. government is taking a closer look at this censorship industrial complex, Archewell has gone quiet. And I think it's because the big dogs got a whiff about their little censorship crusade, and they see it doesn't look so noble and apolitical anymore, especially when the efforts are mirroring the UK and EU's authoritarian policies. This is why there's such an intense focus on the children. And it's not just Harry and Meghan who made this sharp pivot to now make it about the children. It's all of them after it's been exposed that there was collusion with the social media companies in censoring people online. As I've said before, I don't think Harry and Meghan should have anything to do with online safety and rebuilding the online space due to the psychological harm that they've caused so many people with their online terrorist militia. Harry's military sugars are still active, harming people currently today. Speaking of which, let's talk about the UK's latest move that the mainstream media is conveniently downplaying. Today, comedian Linehan was arrested at Heathrow Airport by 5 police officers. His crime? Posting 3 tweets. That's it. 3. And for that, he was treated like a criminal. Here's Graham's own account of what happened, straight from his Substack. He writes, "Something odd happened before I even boarded the flight in Arizona." Yes, folks, he was in the United States. When I handed over my passport at the gate, the official told me I didn't have a seat and had to be reticketed. At the time, I thought it was just the sort of innocent snafu that makes air travel such a joy. But in hindsight, it was clear I'd been flagged. Someone, somewhere, probably wearing unconvincing makeup and his sister, wife, mom's underwear, had made a phone call. The moment I stepped off the plane at Heathrow, 5 armed police officers were waiting. Not 1, not 2, 5. They escorted me to a private area and told me I was under arrest for 3 tweets. In a country where pedophiles escape sentencing, where knife crime is out of control, where women are assaulted and harassed every time they gather to speak, the state had mobilized 5 armed officers to arrest a comedy writer for this tweet. And no, I promise you, I'm not making this up. When I first saw the cops, I actually laughed. I couldn't help myself. Don't tell me you've been sent by the trans activists. The officers gave no reaction, and this was the theme throughout most of the day. Among the rank and file, there was a sort of polite bafflement, entirely professional and even kind, but most had absolutely no idea what any of this was about. Kind, because the officers saw how upset I was when they began reading me my rights. The red mist descended, and I came close to becoming one of those police body cam videos where you can't believe the perp isn't just doing what he's told. And they treated me gently after that. They even arranged for a van to meet me on the tarmac so I didn't have to be perp walked through the airport like a terrorist. Small mercies. At Heathrow Police Station, my belt, bag, and devices were confiscated. Then I was shown into a small green-tiled cell with a bunk, a silver toilet in the corner, and a message from Crime Stoppers on the ceiling next to a concave mirror that was presumably there to make you reflect on your life choices. By some miracle, probably because I hadn't slept on the flight, I managed to doze off. After the premier economy seat in which I just spent 10 hours, it was actually a relief to stretch out. That passed the time, though I kept waking up wondering if it was all actually happening. Later, during the interview itself, the tone shifted. The officer conducting it asked about each of the terrible tweets in turn, with the sort of earnest intensity usually reserved for discussing something serious like, I don't know, crime? I explained that the punch tweet was a serious point made with a joke. Men who enter women's spaces are abusers, and they need to be challenged every time. The punch in the bollocks bit was about the height difference between men and women, the bollocks being closer to punch level for a woman defending her rights, and certainly not a call to violence. Not one of my best, as one of the female officers said, "We're not that small." He mentioned trans people. I asked him what he meant by the phrase. In quotes, people who feel their gender is different than what is assigned at birth. I said, assigned at birth? Our sex isn't assigned. He called it semantics. I told him he was using activist language. The damage Stonewall has done to the UK police force will take years to mend. Eventually, a nurse came to check on me and found my blood pressure was over 200. Stroke territory. The stress of being arrested for jokes was literally threatening my life. So I was escorted to A&E, where I write this now after spending about 8 hours under observation. The doctor suggested the high blood pressure was stress-related, combined with long-haul travel and lack of movement. I feel it might also have been a contributing factor that I have now spent 8 years being targeted by trans activists working in tandem with police in a dedicated, persistent harassment campaign because I refuse to believe that lesbians have male parts. The police themselves, for the most part, were consistently decent throughout this farce. Some were even Father Ted fans. Thank God the Catholic Church never had with the police the special relationship granted to trans activists. The male officers were mostly polite, but clearly nonplussed by the politics of it all, just doing their jobs, however insane those jobs had become. The female officers seemed more tuned in to what was actually happening. One mentioned the Sandy Peggy case in a certain way, and I realized I was among friends, even if they couldn't admit it. I looked at the single bail condition. I'm not to go on Twitter. That's it. No threats, no speeches about the seriousness of my crimes, just a legal gag order designed to shut me up while I'm the UK. And a demand I face a further interview in October. The civility of individual officers doesn't alter the fundamental reality of what happened. I was arrested at an airport like a terrorist, locked in a cell like a criminal, taken to hospital because the stress nearly killed me, and banned from speaking online. All because I made jokes that upset some psychotic crossdressers. To me, this proves one thing beyond doubt. The UK has become a country that is hostile to freedom of speech, hostile to women, and far too accommodating to the demands of violent, entitled, abusive men who have turned the police into their personal goon squad. Now, the reason why I am bringing awareness to this story is because of these effing people you see in front of you. It's these people who are responsible for what is going on right now with censorship, not only in the UK, but also in the EU, Canada, and Australia. It's these effing people who have caused so much trouble to so many others and don't want all of their corruption being exposed. Harry and Meghan would like nothing more than to see each and every one of us locked up for just sharing our opinions. It's no secret that Meghan's Sussex Squad and Harry's military sugars have been behind filling out false police reports trying to get some of us locked up. You don't think we know? Oh, we know. Yeah, I've been screaming about this from the rooftops since 2021, and how many people laughed in my faces, how many people called me a conspiracy nut. And I said to you, once you lose free speech, you lose everything else. And what are we witnessing right now with the UK? Migrants have more rights than its citizens. The government has turned completely on its people. Your money's being spent. Your land is being taken away. Even your children are being hijacked. And you can't say anything about it? Otherwise, you could possibly go to jail for it. And now the people of Great Britain are looking to America to try and help save them from this tyranny. We can only do so much, but it's really dependent on the people of the UK to use your voice and stand up and fight for your freedom. Yeah, and if you're worried about criticizing the Labour government and Starmer, then criticize Prince Harry. Criticize him for being a part of this cabal that literally took your voices away through the advocacy work and the people that he supported, funded, in helping get that online safety bill passed through. And now Harry and Meghan pretending like the last 4 years never happened, pretending that they weren't involved with any of this stuff by keeping Archewell on the down low. I'm sorry, but now is the time for people to speak up and not be afraid. This is a different time. Like Meghan said, no longer are these two protected under the Biden regime. People need to hear what was done to us and still being currently done to us. Now, I wanted to bring this story to you today to show you how serious this situation is and the influence that Harry and Meghan have had, despite so many thinking that they have no power, no influence. You're wrong. Now, the big question that is on everybody's mind, is it too late to save the UK, or has the UK fallen? In my opinion, it has, because no longer is your government for the people. But it doesn't mean it can't bounce back. It's going to take some time. I think it'll take decades to fix the damage that these globalists have done. They still believe in this one world utopia where sovereignty has been eroded, identity has been eroded, and most of all, the wealth redistributed into their pockets, because that's what this was all about. And I think more and more people are starting to realize and wake up because they're feeling the effects of this. And unfortunately, in some cases, it's kind of late, but I'm not saying that it's over. What I can ask you to do, because many of you are probably saying, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. The least that you can do is like this video and share it with just one person. If you can share it with just one person, then we could have, and tell them to go ahead and share it with just one person and continue to have the conversation. The point that I'm trying to make here is that we need to make noise. We can't sit here in silence and do nothing, feeling like we've already lost. We have not lost. Well, at least here in the United States, we know we have not lost. But, we can't take our eye off of it, because just because now Donald Trump is in office, he's not going to be in office forever. And we can't let what happened back in 2020 happen ever again. That should be a lesson that we need to understand and learn. I mean, we talk about history repeating itself. We see history repeating itself in Europe, and it's concerning. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Such a fraud.